Welcome to One Word a Day. I'm Sophie, your pilot into the universe of Chinese. Today's expression, 搭子, again, is a newly made expression that's occurring commonly in social media. 搭子, you see this 子, normally pronounced by itself as 子, the third tone, this bendy tone. And in this case, because it's after this 搭, it becomes like a facilitator. It's not the main thing. So just like in English, we emphasize what we want to project the main meaning, and then the remaining facilitating to complete the pronunciation. Those are the pronunciations that are not going to be emphasized in its tones. And so just comparable to the English behavior pronunciation-wise. So this is not emphasized. It becomes 子. So in the Chinese, when we say it, it's 搭子. So it's almost like 搭 is the main thing. And to complete, to put a closure to it, it's a 子. It's very light tone. We call it a light tone. Okay, 搭 made a 5-finger hand symbol, and we talked about how differentiator works, because this 5-finger hand symbol looks the same as the hair symbol, and somebody add the left tilting becomes the hair, the right tilting becomes the hand. 5-finger hand symbol, once it's put in there, it becomes categorical. It's about the motion of the hand. What kind of motion? Okay, the right side is plant symbol, double trident, pointing upward. So these are simplified description of a cluster of plants that's growing upwards. So normally it's not, if it's growing in a cluster, you know it's not a big tree, right? Because trees need space. They are rooted far, canopy far, that's tree. They're pretty self-standing versus plants, most likely like a grass type of plants, herbs that are growing in clusters. So that's Chinese capturing of that. And then at bottom is this gathering. This triangular shape, it's not enclosed. It's not a perfect triangle where the 3 sides link together, but Chinese use triangles as shape, have the bottom here like lifted up, and it's not connected to the corners of the 2 sides, but visually it still creates this gathering. And then we have this mouse symbol at the bottom. So a few months ago, when I was talking about the Chinese food, this I realized actually is not a mouse symbol, because all this time I'm trying to visualize it, to make sense of it just by the shape of it. How come it becomes a mouse? I said, okay, these are up tilted corners of a human mouse. And human mouse in Chinese symbolize consumption, which are humans are diners or eaters, and speaking. We output, we influence. So that mouse symbol, the up tilted corner, was busted until I saw the ancient way to render what that is. It actually is a pot. So this up tilted corners are the handles of the pot. So it's an ancient container for food. And because we're diners in ancient times, so food container eventually becomes the mouse symbol. The mouse gathering plant, and that is a character no longer in use, in active use in everyday language. And when I check it up, it means a type of beans, red beans in particular. I mean, that's a shocker. Like, it doesn't look anywhere like red beans, unless in ancient times in Chinese cuisine, when we're cooking something and gather a lot of those, that's a plant-based. So we're cooking, say, a soup of sorts, right? Because you're cooking in a pot. And then you have your plants, you gather all the plants, put in together, and that's like a bean soup. Unless that was the case, like in the ancient times, Chinese use beans a lot in their cuisine, and that's like without specifying what type of a plant being gathered to made it into the pot over there, or into your mouth eventually. That the beans become the default food. Like that's one explainer, but I don't know. I'm not knowledgeable about the history of Chinese diet back then. But according to scholars, that's about red beans. Now, red beans paired with the five-finger hand symbol somehow became, I translate as a buddy person. Buddy is really an extended meaning from its original meaning. Original meaning is this hand motion that's made of red beans, red bean hand motion. So at some point in history back, that combination of five-finger hand symbol of this type of cuisine, this diet, became like you build a shed, you build something. Often Chinese say 搭建, like if you want to build, you have to connect things up. So that can be treated as connecting. You're going to interlocking something so that it's not going to collapse. And that is made in that sense, in this context, that this is somebody you're reaching out to do things together, and it's your buddy. And that's this I translate as a person, but in ancient Chinese, it's a baby symbol. Big head, two arms reaching up, only the torso, no legs function yet. So that's a baby simplification. So it's a small person. And when we add it to the action, that means the person who served the function of doing something together with you, by that, like you linking up to somebody. So it's a kind of like a buddy of you do something, carry out some activity together with. And in Chinese culture, because it's a new phenomenon, it's actually a Gen Z phenomenon, because nobody has time to maintain any long-term friends. Friends is too serious, too big deal, too costly to maintain. So Chinese younger generation came up with this concept of 搭子. Simply means somebody who do something particular thing together with you. And everybody have their own categorical 搭子. It can be foodie 搭子. If you go out dining, you don't want to dine alone. You find somebody to eat out with you. Or you go to theater, go to shows, all that. Like all kinds of activities. You can find people who are wanting to go doing the same thing together with you, but they don't serve as your friends, like long-term. Once the activity is done, you can goodbye, never see each other again. And that is a low-cost way to keep companionship. And okay, people actually use that as a 精准陪伴. So last time we talked about 主打一个陪伴, right? This 陪伴 companionship. 精准陪伴 means accurate, small scoped, accurately companionship. That means you find somebody to do this one thing only. That person may not need to be in your life much at all. Just do this one thing with this person. So that's, and I translate as a pals. And I mean, they look like friends, they're not, but it could be like a short, temporarily formed group of people who are doing something, watching like a comedy show or whatever, do it together. And so that they don't feel alone. They don't feel socially like singular. And the other day I was hearing on the video about single diners. So apparently going out to eat food, if you're just one person, spending money at a restaurant, eating alone, that's kind of an odd thing to do, right? Kind of have a social pressure or stigma associated with it. So Chinese coined this word to mean it is, you're going to find somebody to do it together so you don't feel awkwardness. All right, so that's that. Thank you for your time. See you another